everyone, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. Today what I would like to show you is how to do a trifold lapel card. Now, I got out of bed this morning. Well, I actually didn't. I picked up my iPad and started, as I normally do, looking through YouTube. And I came across this particular fold, and it was only put up yesterday. And the lady that put it up is the lady from Iced Images. She said that she had seen it on Pinterest. It didn't give any directions, but it was put up by a Joanne Jamieson Larkin from the Crafter's Companion. And so she has worked out the measurements, and I just love the card. So I don't know the lady's name from Iced Images because she doesn't introduce herself when she does the tutorials. But if you get an opportunity, head on over to her YouTube channel because she really does put up some spectacular cards. So this one is a trifold lapel card, and as you can see, it opens up and it stands up like so. It is extremely easy to make. I've already done one of these this morning and it's only 10 o'clock, and I don't get up early. I have die cut the Merry Christmas out of one of my new die cuts that arrived from overseas this week. But you can have anything. I've got something different that I'm doing on the card today. I just think it's a very, very simple and easy card to make. And if you've got a topper from a kit or from a pad like this, you don't even need a die cutting machine. You don't need anything. So it's one of these other cards that you can actually use and not necessarily have a lot of the equipment that a lot of us do have. So let's get started. As I said, it is very easy. So let me go through some things with you. Firstly, I have used the pattern paper I have used is a Prima paper. It's one that I got, I think last year or maybe the year before. As you can see, there's not a huge amount left in mine, but it really is. It's lovely paper. It's double-sided, so you can use either side, which is great. So this is the paper that I have used for both of my pattern pieces. You need two different kinds of patterns. For this one, I used obviously the one pattern in there, and then I used a different pattern on the front of it. Okay, so you need two of those. So that's the paper I used. You also need a piece of A4. Now this is 250 GSM. Now it's entirely up to you what you use, but I wouldn't use anything that was too heavy. In the lady's tutorial that I watched this morning, she said that she used just a standard A4 sheet. Now, with my A4 sheet, when I measured it, it needs to be 8 1/4 by 11 5/8. Now, my A4 in Australia has got that much more than the 11 5/8, so I did cut that off. So basically it is one sheet of A4 paper, and if you're watching in Australia, just measure it to make sure. I'll bring my scoring board in because we will need that. I'll go through the sizes of the pattern paper for you in a moment. So what you need is a piece of paper, a piece of card, sorry. Your base card is going to be 11 5/8 along the top, and on the side it's going to measure 8 1/4 inches. Okay, so it's quite a long card, but it does fit into a DL envelope. So along the 11 5/8 side, what you need to do is you need to get your scoring tool and you need to score at 3 7/8, and then I turn it around and once again line it up and then do 3 7/8 again. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is to get a ruler and a pencil. Now, what you need to do is you need to measure down from the top 3 1/4 inches. Okay, and then all you do is pop just a little mark at the 3 1/4 inch mark, and you do that on both sides. So 3 1/4 there and 3 1/4 here. And then what you do is, and this is a trick that I learnt with Sam Cowcott. If you're watching the lady from Iced Images, she does it on a cork board. I tend to use my scoring board. And what I do is I will put my scoring tool in at, say, 4 inches. I'll run it down, and then I will measure from this first score line that you've gone down here. You've got to put that on your 4-inch track and make sure it is exact. You then bring your other piece. Don't forget you've got this in the right spot. So there is my mark just there. So I make sure that my top piece is in the 4 and it's central. And once it is, I then bring and I score down, and you will see that that will give you your first diagonal score. The second diagonal score on that side, once again, I use the 4, I bring it down, I place this one on the 4 mark, which is there, and then I bring the tip down to the 4 where my scoring tool is, and then once again, and that, as you can see, gives you 2 diagonal scores. And once again, over on the other side, you do exactly the same. So now you should have 6 score lines. You've got 1 going down to that mark there. You've got 1 going down from that score line there to the corner. You've got your score line, another score line, another one going to the corner, another one to that mark. So we can now pop this away. And this is where the fun comes in. So all you need to do is to fold this in. And I cannot emphasize enough how burnishing this card is going to really be your best friend. So we bring that one in. We then bring the other side in. Okay, so there's your trifold card. What you now need to do is you now need to bring this very long diagonal line, and you bring that in. And if it's not folding easily, this one is, but if it's not folding easily, just pop it up against a ruler first off, just to make sure you're getting that nice and straight, and then fold it in. Once again, very important that you score this extremely well. Then you bring this last one, this smaller one, over. Once again, scoring really well. And then you do the same with this one here. So you bring that one down like so. And then this one in. And you will need to score it a few times as you're putting your papers, your pattern papers and that on. But basically, there is the fold of your card. And you can see it is that easy to do. So there is your card. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to put some pattern papers on there. Now, I've used 2 different colours of my pattern papers. The pattern paper that I'm going to put on the inside is this one here. Okay, so the pattern paper, you'll see that there are 3 pieces, and they are they're 2 different sizes. So the one that goes in the center is the biggest, and that is going to measure, let me have a little look here, it's going to measure 3 5/8 from there to there, and it's going to measure 8 inches from there to there. So that's my center one, and that is going to go right in the center just there, and you can see that with a lovely border around it, that fits perfectly. The other 2 pieces, you'll see that I've put an R on this and an L on that. So I want this to go there, and I want that to go there. And the reason that I want that is I've got wording there, and I've got this beautiful deer just here, and I want that to be lined up. However, this is going to be a smaller piece, So when you're taking and cutting, if it's got a picture on it, when you're wanting it to line up, make sure that you cut the 1/4 inch that you've got to have, because this particular piece is going to measure 2 5/8 by 7 3/4. But you take the 1/4 inch off the top. Don't take it off the bottom, otherwise it will be up like this and the pattern won't match. So take it off the top and you'll find that it will match perfectly. Okay, you'll need 3 sets of those. 3 pieces of those. And then with the other side, you actually only need 2. So if we turn that over, we then need 2 pieces like so, and they are going to be the same as the second measurements I gave you, which is 3 5/8 by 7 3/4. Okay, so I'll pop those aside for the time being, and I'll work on this one. Firstly, the center one, let's get that glued down. Now, with our 2 other pieces, as you can see, I've got, where are we? I haven't ran the wrong way. I have got right and left. So with this, what we need to do is we need to start our measurements from this corner, from this corner down, because when that turns over the right way, it's going to be the opposite direction. So we start on the right hand side at the top right hand, and what we do on the left hand side of this is we measure down 3 inches. Okay, and we just pop a mark at 3 inches. Okay, so there's our mark. The other one we turn over, and that was already turned over. And then once again, on the inside part, we then measure this one down for 3 inches as well and put a mark. Okay, now what we do, and I'm going to pop that one aside, I'm going to bring my cutting board back in, and I am going to line these up on my cutting line just here. So we've got our mark at 3 inches, which is here. Okay, so we're going to go, don't forget this is the wrong side up, so we're going to go from there down to there. So I need to line the top one up right there, and then this mark on there as well. So it's got to be exact. And what I tend to do is I put my blade in the center, push it down, and then I find that if I'm going from a corner, it can sometimes damage the corner. So that is the piece that will now go in there. Okay. The next one that we need to do is from the very same corner down to the very opposite corner. Okay, so diagonally across, you line them up again. And once again, I tend to go into the paper a little bit first and then do that. So that piece will go just there, and this piece will go just there. And you can see that my pattern is starting to line up because we took it from the top rather than from the bottom. The pattern is lining up. So I'll pop that to one side again. And then on this piece, we're going to go from this corner down to there. Okay, so it will be from this corner down to there, so that when it turns over, we've got that piece that will go in. So we once again line them up. So because we've taken the quarter of an inch off the top, not the bottom, you'll see that the wording matches, and also the deer there matches as well. So now it's a case of just gluing those pieces down, and then we'll come back and do the other side of the card. Okay, so there we go. Now we have the card as we will start to fold it, you will start to see the inside colours coming through. And now we're going to turn it over, and we're going to do basically the same as what we did for these two, we are going to do for these two here. So I've got two pieces there. Okay, now the magic comes together. If we turn it over and we start to fold it in, you will see that you get the inside from on that part, and that part, and then you get the outside on this. Now, before I started today, I actually did do some heat embossing. Now, you don't need to, if you have got a heat embossed piece. I can't find my last piece actually. I'll just have a quick look here. Okay, so I found it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put that down there. Okay, I'm just going to probably use double-sided tape for that. That will allow me to write my wishes there. No, I might actually use glue because it's out. So I'll glue that in. And obviously it doesn't have to be heat embossed. I've chosen to heat emboss this, but if you don't know how to heat emboss or don't have the tools to do it, you can always just stamp a message in there. So that's for where you're going to write your sentiment. And this one, what I did is I wanted it to pop just a little bit. So I did a heat emboss to a special friend, and I am going to pop that equal with these two corners here. Okay, so, and you can see I've used mounting tape. I've used one of the, where are we? There we go. I've used, in here there are sheets with, must be at the back, with toppers that you can cut out. They're actually right through this particular book, but this is the one that I've used. This is another sheet of this, and I've just literally cut that piece out, put it on a piece of gold, and that's what I'm using as my topper. You don't have to have, I've had to a special friend put on that, but you don't have to have that. So when you're doing this, or when you're attaching this, put it where you want it, and on the back just use a pencil and just lightly draw around so that you know where you want your glue to go. So I'll glue that on as well. And then you can actually position it quite easily. And you know that that's going to be in the right spot because you measured it up before. There we go. So there is slightly off, but that's okay. So there is our card. I love it. I think it's so simple, and it doesn't require too many tools. If you've got a topper and you've got a stamp, it doesn't have to be heat embossed. It is simply, I used the cutting board, but you don't have to use the cutting board. You could use a knife to cut everything out. It's not difficult. I use foam tape underneath the topper there. But I think it's a lovely card. So, you know, there's two of them there, and they're very easy to make. And they do fit into a normal size letter envelope or a DL envelope. So there's a little bit of dimension there because you do have, you know, obviously several thicknesses of card plus paper. But I just think they're beautiful and very, very simple, and especially for beginners to do. You you know, if you were just starting out on making cards and you were able to give something like this to a friend, I think that they would be absolutely delighted with it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found it interesting. I'd like to thank Iced Images over in the UK for the design, because I just saw it this morning and I thought, oh, I've got to do that one. So thank you for Iced Images. And obviously thank you originally to Joan Jamieson Larkin from the Crafter's Companion, because I believe that's where it came from. If you are a member of our Facebook page, please head on over. If you're not, should I say, please head on over and put in a request. We would love to have you as part of our group. We have a lovely group there. There's about, I think we've got 1,500 people there at the moment, and they're forever posting their projects. That we've got people from all levels, from very advanced crafters right through to the to people who are just wanting to get into it and want to know, you know, what to do and where to get things. So head on over, put a request in. We'd love to have you on board. Please, if you've enjoyed this this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel, because that really does help. I'd like to thank you for watching today, and hopefully I'll be back very soon with another tutorial. Thank you.